All right, YouTube. So here we go. Here we go. Hang in there. We're up. Here we go, guys. 2 seconds. Hello and welcome to a Wednesday of Hanna Time right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Your host, Cornelius Brad Hanna, coming to you live from the GSBN studios and looking forward to another big sports show for you right now. Got a nice lineup of topics for you to get into, and I am excited to talk about it right here on GSBN, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram. Let's get into it and let's get rocking and rolling on this. So, hey, grunting. There's no more grunting. It's over. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Maria Sharapova, the grunting model tennis star, is going to retire from tennis. She's announced it, and we're going to miss her. She definitely brought something to the women's sport of tennis itself. And what she said, she's going to hang it up. 32 years old. Feels like she's been around much longer than that. Still very young, still in a prime of her life, but made a lot of money. Had success. Also, a lot of French Open success, too. So Maria Sharapova, the grunting, no more on this Wednesday. She's going to retire from tennis. All right. Also, the Olympics. They are in great danger. The up-and-coming Olympics are in great danger of not happening, being canceled. Yes. With the coronavirus problems globally, but especially overseas in the Asian part of the world. Obviously, it's from China, but Japan got some problems. And now there is talk that if this gets worse, they have to monitor it and see how this, and do the athletes actually want to show up is the other aspect of this concern, that the Olympics may have to be canceled because of the coronavirus. Let's see how it plays out. Hopefully we can find a salvation to it, a cure to it, and move on as fast as possible. We love the Olympics. Great time to watch sports. Just the ability of the amateur athlete to the professional athlete all coming together at one time. All right, so there you have it for the Olympics. Also, we're going to talk football. We're going to talk a little bit Arizona Cardinals, their first round choice decision. Got a little hot yesterday about maybe not going offensive line. How dare they think about that, right? A lot of people feel they should go wide receiver again, again, wide receiver. But also we're going to talk about the NFL Players Association. They are going to vote on the owner's proposal. That is going to happen today, it looks like. It looks like at least they're expecting to have the vote done today. They have already put it out. The union has already put it out there. So now it's up to the players to get together and do their vote and move on about what the proposal is. Now there is talk that they seem to have accepted it, which is a great step. There was talk that maybe the players, the NFLPA, were not quite happy with everything in the proposal. But now that the fact that it's out for the vote and let the players vote on it, most likely this leans on the fact that it's going to be passed, or the players are going to accept it, unless there is something harshly wrong with it, which doesn't seem to be the case. The 17-game schedule is the concern of the NFL players. It's a big concern. All right, so, 17 games, 14 playoffs. It's a 10-year proposal, agreement that would be allowing owners to expand the regular season to 17 games and 14 teams in the playoffs. Now, thinking about the playoffs in the NFL, think about this. This is now coming out. According to Peter King of NBC Sports, the NFL is considering the possibility of moving at least one playoff game each year in this new proposal to Monday night. Monday Night Football playoffs. Why not? Marketable. Okay, that team, obviously, if they would win that game, would have to play on a Sunday. And the teams that played on Saturday will probably have to play on another Saturday. But eventually it has to play out. Okay? I mean, there is one team that gets the bye week. The best record of the conference will get the bye week. But they are considering the possibility of Monday night playoff football in the wild card round itself. All right? That is pretty cool. I like that. I'm okay with that. Okay, this is okay to me. I don't know if anybody wants to disagree with that. That means you're going to get NFL playoffs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And this is what the fans want. More days to watch football, right? So under the current format, which has been in place since 1990, the option of playing on Monday night never really came up for playoff football. Never really came up because there were only 4 games during the wild card round, which made it simple for the NFL to schedule scheduling standpoint, basically. Over the past 30 years, the NFL has simply scheduled doubleheaders on Saturdays and Sundays, which has gone very well. But now to stretch it into Monday, another game, because now you're going to have more teams in the playoffs, which gives them that option now to stretch it out, which is fantastic. The only thing is you're only going to get 6 days rest for the next game. And that's well, I don't know if the players understand that, but is that a big deal? It may be a big deal for some teams. But this is all about money and marketability, giving the fans what they want. It is showtime. It is entertainment. And that's what the NFL is trying to provide. Once the NFL expands the postseason to 14 teams, that'll add 2 extra wild card games for that wild card weekend. So just put that in perspective. So you already have wild card weekend Saturday and Sunday, but now you get these 2 extra games, and we may get a wild card doubleheader Monday night football. I don't know how it will work out because the games will start kind of early on a Monday, and not everybody's going to be watching. But the NFL will probably have a triple header on Sunday, doubleheader on Saturday, and a solo playoff game on Monday Night Football. Sounds great. Sounds fabulous. Okay, something is very good about that. What are your thoughts about the Monday Night playoff game that is being basically in the proposal? Actually, it's going to be talked about more, especially after the players, if they accept the proposal from the owner's proposal on this new CBA. That's a 10-year agreement that will expand the league to 17 games. That will not happen till 2021, but the playoff format will happen right away. Okay? The playoff format will happen right away. So, that's what they want. So just be ready. So now teams in the NFL, you are that close. Fans all over America, all over the world. The team that you root for doesn't have to be better than average, or just has to be average to make the playoffs. You could be 7-9 or 8-8. You are that close to having another opportunity, a chance to get into the playoff picture, to get into postseason and do some serious damage. Sometimes you can get hot. Sometimes you can run off 4 or 5 wins in a row in December and you get into postseason and all of a sudden you're a hot team that nobody wants to play. Why not? This is what it's about. Baseball has had teams. Baseball is a different sport because you got individuality efforts in competition between pitcher and batter, and that pitching can dominate a game of baseball, and a team that is not having a great season but has good pitching can do a lot of damage in the postseason. And as wild cards in baseball, the chances of getting to the World Series, the dynamics of it, the way it's set up with what I just said, seems to be a lot easier. For football, we have yet to understand that aspect. It just seems to be a lot harder to win outright from wild card, worst record, and run through the table and win a Super Bowl. I think only like 3 teams have done it. I know 2 teams, the Giants and Steelers, have done it. I think there's one more, but still, I think the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, right? But still, very difficult to be a wild card team. So even getting in and being a lowest seed, 7, 9, 8, and 8 team, it gives your team, your city, your fan base a lot of excitement. And you can still say, we made the playoffs and you didn't. And that goes a long way in an off season, right? We know the trash talking that goes on with the fans. So I get that. I totally get that. So what do you think? Your thoughts right now coming in? Andy, Antonio in the house, Don in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Felix in the house. Hey, my friend. Glory in the house. Good morning, amigo, amiga. Hey, Vicky, how you doing, Vicky? I'm glad you're popping in. Good friend, good co-worker of mine from a couple of decades ago. My goodness, Vicky, it's been a couple of decades. Felix, what the hell is Steve Keim and Bill Well thinking? Here we go. All right, here we go. I knew this was gonna pop. Once we heard that they were not sold on getting an offensive lineman in the first round, the Cardinals, that is, the fan base probably wasn't too quite happy with it. Not everybody, right? One more game is always fun in the NFL, but when it comes to the Cardinals, right now you just got to find yourself an offensive line. Get some help. But here's the deal with the Cardinals, okay? Yesterday, they're at the combine, a lot of press conferences, a lot of meetings, and talking to players that are in the combine and getting a feel of where teams are. A lot of it is a lot of hype. A lot of it is like more exposure for the NFL. That's kind of what Monday and Tuesday has been like already as they get prepped and ready for the big combines, okay, for the NFL, which means the college players are going to showcase their skill set. But Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury, the Arizona Cardinals, say they may not draft an offensive tackle, okay? They may not draft an offensive tackle with the number 8th pick overall. I think it's a mistake if they don't. I believe that enough is enough with your scrappy selections of wide receivers. You have done well with that. Do not get infatuated with talk and hype and what you see on game film. This is one NFL draft that has a bundle of wide receivers that are good. You can gobble up a bunch of them if you want to later on. You can go get 2 good ones later on if you have to. But in the first 2 rounds, you need to go after what the most important thing was, is that offensive line for your future quarterback that you've now committed to. You brought a coach in to work with that quarterback. The relationship of that, everything. But you're going to tell us that you're not 100% in on an offensive tackle for this upcoming draft. First round pick, number 8 overall. Don't want to see the same story in Arizona. Same drafting kind of concepts. Okay? You've struck out a lot of wide receivers drafting high. And in the moment they draft somebody good and everybody gets excited, they're all going to say, I told you so. But you haven't told me anything for a few years with wide receivers, and that's the problem. That's the problem. And the most needed area is to protect your young quarterback that is not the most biggest thing out there. And he's bound to get beat up more. You're relying on DJ Humphrey, who signed for a big contract, folks. That's a lot of money for a guy that Luis Sharp said is an average offensive tackle in his standards. Getting that kind of money. Think about that. And there's no guarantee. DJ Humphreys is not a shutdown tackle. And he had an average offensive tackle year. And the other side, Murray. Again, average, but they keep talking about upside. There's so much to look at. And What upside? Every year it's upside. Every year it's upside. But every year there's a merry-go-round. Now you get all excited about one season in a long time that had an average offensive line output. Everybody's trying to grade this offensive line as if it was really good or something. You got to put yourself in a better perspective in that. You got to understand that that was not anything great to watch on the offensive line. It was more stabilized because less injuries. That's a good thing. It was more consistent in a way of, seems like they had some good moments. They had good games, not great games, but there's no dominance. Do you need dominance? Yes, you do. Where's your running game? Look at the Los Angeles Rams. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, they solidified everything with that offensive line. They went out and got a veteran, an all-pro veteran at left tackle. And it opened up the door for Gurley, and that offense exploded because of it. But now they're beat up. Now that offensive line got beat up last season, and nothing happened. Nothing worked. They struggled on offense. They had a lot of misfirings. Gurley wasn't the same. He's not the same. They say he's not the same because he's older. Nonsense. The system and the way the offensive line is structured in LA, be careful, Arizona, because you better have an offensive line, especially for Kyler Murray, because he'll get beat up a lot easier. Poor guy, man. I just hope they take care of him. You know, you want pretty. You want pretty. Football is not pretty. Football wasn't meant to be pretty. And it starts in the middle. Go get your offensive tackle. Go get your defensive tackle. And then get pretty. Go get dirty. Go get mean. Go get tough. The Cardinals are not a tough team. Go get tough. Take care of business for the first time that way. Do not ignore the offensive tackle. There's some really good ones out there. In the latest mock draft for the Cardinals, Kuiper and Jeremiah both have the Cardinals selecting offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. He's a junior. The guy's a beast. The guy is really good. Right? Does it translate to the NFL? They say he does. They say he fits the Cardinals great. This is a guy that can play both left tackle and right tackle. This is a guy who's very diverse on the offensive line. Very good on his feet. He's a big man. But they claim to be the best in the draft. Go get the best tackle in the draft. And now that the fact that you have DJ Humphries at the left tackle in Arizona, paid him a lot of money. I don't know why he's... My goodness. You just gave him a 3-year deal. Good luck with that. It's a lot of money for a guy that's average. But now that you have him there and he is now your left tackle, you got to focus on your right tackle. But no, the Cardinals are comfortable with Murray. They feel like he's got a lot upside. They say he came on stronger at the end of the season. So the Cardinals are going to play with blindfolds. They're going to play with what they saw for 5 games. But they're going to bypass on opportunities that can solidify a position for 10 years. Maybe you shouldn't have signed DJ Humphries. It tells me the Arizona Cardinals are not drafting a tackle. If they sign Humphries and they seem satisfied with Murray and they see content that this is fine, but they're going to go get an offensive tackle later on in the draft, cross your fingers. Maybe they hit on one of them. But you get the chance to get the best offensive lineman best offensive tackle in the draft. Go get him. Go get him. Cardinals have not had that in decades. Decades. Go get the guy. So they bring back, Justin Murray, Marcus Gilbert. Maybe he comes back, but he's a free agent. I don't know how that's going to play out. If he's worth bringing back. Gilbert, however, he is 32 years old too. So, how does he even look after surgery? Murray filled in, like I said, average. He was not anything outstanding. You better find somebody who is outstanding for your quarterback. Okay? Now, Wirfs from Iowa, this guy's a stud. Can be pushed inside also. He can play guard. So now if you're comfortable with Murray and Humphreys on your outside at tackle position, where are you on the inside? You drafted a young stud from Georgia last year to play center. Let's see how he develops. Okay? Could be the future center of the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to wait and see what happens this upcoming season with him. But now Wirfs in the play. So Wirfs is diverse in playing guard or tackle, and he's good. Why wouldn't you want to go after a guy like that? Maybe you are right. Maybe Humphreys is going to get a little bit better now. Maybe Murray gets a little bit better, and you're going to be happy. And then you're sticking a stud like Wirfs in there, and also you got a young core team of offensive linemen that you can build with. You had a nice little draft pick last year from Georgia. Go with it. But now it doesn't seem that way. I got a bad feeling again. CD Lamb. CD Lamb's like, get out of the infatuation part. Get out of it. It's okay. You know what? You struck out last season. You struck out the year before. You never hit a home run with wide receivers. Okay? They're not Dennis Green, who said, I got Larry Fitzgerald. Okay? This CD Lamb guy is good. He'll do well in the NFL. But there's a lot of those players. There's a lot of high-quality wide receivers. It probably is one of the best drafts of wide receivers that you're going to get. So why don't they look at it that way? So they want to get cute, the Cardinals. They want to get soft, but they don't want to get tough. Now, they may say, whoa, Cornelius, we're going to go get our wide receiver, but we're good with our second round. We're going to go get this guy offensive lineman. Then we're going to go to get a defensive tackle. But what you can find gems later in the draft. We know that. You can find them. They're there. Do you trust the Cardinals? Do you trust the Cardinals able to find those gems? Do you trust Steve Keim to find those gems? Do you? That's the key. See, that's the point. Other teams do well. Other teams have done well with that. Just putting it out there, folks. This is starting to sound like a broken record. There is also Mike Jurecki, works for the Cardinals, insider. Mekhi Becton, I should say, offensive tackle, is another one that the Cardinals are looking at. And the Cardinals may be looking at him for a second-round pick or even a third-round pick, depending on how things play out in the draft. So if they don't go number one or eighth pick in the draft in 2020 with a lineman, if they go wide receiver, then Becton is a guy that they've already spoken to, from what Jurecki has reported. Knowing that the Cardinals are interested in their offensive line. They are looking to draft for a lineman. The fact that they're already interviewing offensive linemen. So that's a good sign. The question is, do you want to get the best of the crop? Or do you feel that Becton is one of the better ones and like you can get him later on? That goes back average at best. And you know who you missed out on, Arizona. You know all the wide receivers from last time. This Murray and Kingsbury offense. Like it's supposed to be dynamic, right? And all these wide receivers are just gonna go pop. Awesome, good. Eh, no offensive line, no balanced running game. Drake came in and gave him some pop, fits their system well, but you know what? Drake is not a Cardinal right now. He's going to be a free agent in a few weeks. That's what it looks like. Looks like Drake's going to test the market. Why not? He finished strong. He's got more value to him now because he showed in his final year of a contract what his value is. He's going to test the market. Are the Cardinals ready to sign him? Go get him. Or does somebody else go, I like a Drake. I like what he did. I'm going to pay him this money. And the Cardinals go, we don't want to spend that kind of money. The Cardinals they better go get this guy if they feel he's a big part of that offense. But Drake holds the cards because he may not want to sign before the free agency starts. And that's probably what's happening. I'm sure they've talked, connected, but this is all about what happens at midnight when free agency goes. Everybody's going to line up their players. Everybody's going to have contracts ready to go. And boom, they're going to send them off electronically to get them immediately to get their free agents signed. So there's going to be a blast of free agents in 48 hours. Within minutes, within an hour, you'll get reports. You'll hear rumors, leaky rumors coming out prior to midnight of that, or prior to the opening bell of free agency. Where are the Cardinals with that? You won't really know about anybody's draft picks until free agency gets going and you see where your team's at with free agency. Comments coming in. I appreciate it. Saysa in the house, CG in the house, Tim in the house, Brendan Grady in the house, Tom in the house, Tom Branham, Levon, and Richard Bottoms. Richard Bottoms says, what's up, brother? Hope all is well. Richard Bottoms, everything's going well, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Jason in the house, Albert in the house, Stephen Offering in the house. Thank you, Stephen. Good friend from high school. Lucas Martin. Hey, Lucas. Welcome back, Lucas. Jose. Felix. Hell no. Don't trust Bidwell. Don't trust Kime. That's what a lot of fans are feeling right now. Okay? A lot of fans are feeling that way. All right? So, you got that. Taken care of with football, right? What else about the NFL and what is going on? How about Bill O'Brien? Bill O'Brien, the offensive play calling duties of the Houston Texans, well, he is not going to call the plays anymore. He's giving it up. Let's see what happens with that Houston Texans offense. With more news around the NFL, let's get to it. Let's get popping to it. Right now, Arizona Cardinals, David Johnson. Cardinals are saying, or Steve Keim is saying, that David Johnson is a guy we still value. The success of Kenyon Drake, because of his success, and Chase Edmonds had one game. Chase Edmonds had one game against the Giants. Give me a break. All right, I had to think something that will be a chip on his shoulder with David Johnson. So maybe we value him, and that David Johnson will come back strong. This is what they're saying in Arizona with the Cardinals. Steve Keim said, highly paid back. He said he's going to want to come back and play well again. And because of his skill set, we certainly think he can jump back in and do some good things for us. The reality is, though, the decision has already been made for Arizona. Okay? That's the reality. As releasing Johnson would be costly. The Cardinals clearly want to re-sign Kenyon Drake. They really do. But the David Johnson deal that they signed him, the money involved, could be the problem to prevent the signing of Drake. And Drake, like I said, is going to go get his best contract that he can get now. He is going to go and get his best contract. This is his chance to get his dollar. It's time to get paid, Kenyon Drake, is what he's saying. The Cardinals want him. It was a great fit. It was a great fit. But David Johnson doesn't seem to fit the Cardinal system for whatever reason. Maybe David Johnson comes back and has a resurgence. Maybe. David Johnson's not old and beat up and over, and his career is done. This is just a situation where it just doesn't fit him, it seems like. But then again, David Johnson had some really good games early in the season. You know, he had some great catches out of the backfield. He had some good runs. You know, he did have those kind of games that Kenyon Drake did have. So quietly and not really popular, but David Johnson still may be the guy to produce the way you were hoping he would have for 16 games last season. But Steve Keim said, David Johnson is a guy we value. Well, he better say that because he's on your roster and you can't release him. You can try to trade him and look for the Cardinals to try to trade him to somebody to free up that money to go get and sign Kenyon Drake. If they can still sign Kenyon Drake. Check that one out. Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts, okay, have the indication that Phillips will sign with the Colts. This is coming out of the combine. This is all the rumors. You start to hear things. Phillip Rivers, the former Charger great quarterback, there is indications that the Chargers quarterback, former quarterback, is going to sign with the Indianapolis Colts. Here's the story. Sources reportedly point to the fact that Rivers has a great relationship with head coach Frank Reich. It should be also an easy signing as the Colts are projected to have a lot of room under the cap this season. You know, with Andrew Luck retirement, devoting an early position regardless of whether or not they ultimately land Rivers is probably a good idea. They possess the type of dominant offensive line that Phillip Rivers needs in his aging career, but a good passer and a smart quarterback. And having a running game that they do in Indianapolis. The Colts run the ball, and they got a really good offensive line. So theoretically, this makes sense for Rivers to be with the Colts in 2020 because the guy's going to stay upright, and the guy's going to be able to throw down the field. The play action for Phillip Rivers is going to be great. There's another free agent out there, unsigned linebacker. Once a Ram-dominant linebacker, had a decent career with the Giants, but started 26 games, okay, is Alec Ogletree and Kareem Martin. Giants released Alec Ogletree and Kareem Martin, free agents. You know, Ogletree is a good pickup for a team that needs veteran leadership, who can make plays, is a ball hawk, okay? Still has probably a couple of really good seasons in him and understands the game. Arizona Cardinals, are you listening? Arizona Cardinals, would you like to have an Alec Ogletree? Find out if what his value is in the market, and let's see what the Cardinals do at that position, because the Cardinals need another linebacker, they need defensive line help, and they need offensive line help. Those are my top three relevant, significant, lovable choices for the Cardinals in the NFL Draft 2020. Jason Witten, well, reports coming out of Dallas that the expectation that Witten will return to the Cowboys, well, guess what? He will turn 38 in May. And there still may be a role for Witten as a part-time red zone option. Is Witten willing to sign for less money to be a part-time player? Okay. The Dallas Cowboys have a big decision there. Also in Dallas, linebacker Sean Lee. There is expectation that Sean Lee returns to the Cowboys next season. Guy has had a good career, but he's also banged up and he gets hurt a lot. Lee was a backup for most of last season because they've had some really good They have really good linebackers in Dallas right now. So playing time is limited for Sean Lee, which is a good thing for him. But is he willing to accept a backup role, not able to start, and accept less money to be and remain a Dallas Cowboy? Okay. He was sidelined with a neck injury last season. The return to the team's long-term leader is good news for the Cowboys because he's a veteran, but he's 34 years old, been banged up, but his leadership, at what cost can the Cowboys go for? All right, more news. Baker Mayfield. Baker says he wants to get slimmer and faster. Ever since his shirtless photograph with fellow players of NFL players went viral with his chubby, well, let's say handlebars around his stomach line, didn't look like a very in shape quarterback, which doesn't really matter. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the past that weren't really in great shape but threw the ball and were great. But Baker says, I want to slim down and I want to get faster. Let's see what happens. I think Baker Mayfield, you better get going because your third year is going to be scrutinized. And if you're making it or breaking it in the NFL, you didn't have a good year last year. You went backwards. So he put on some weight last year to bulk up, but he wants to go back and be less weight, maybe closer to his college football weight, okay? Where he was 218 in 2018, he was 215 pounds. 215 pounds. So let's see where he's at. Another quarterback that's going to get drafted is Tua Tagovailoa. Bama's quarterback received overwhelmingly positive reports on his dislocated hip. Examined now at the combine. Let's see what happens. The Miami Dolphins are excited about Tua in Miami. Not bad. I like that. Okay, Alfred Jeffries of the Eagles. His foot, his health, his future with the Eagles is in doubt. Eagles are declining comment about his future with the Eagles itself. They want to keep it in-house, and we'll have an honest conversation with all our players, including Alshon Jeffrey, the wide receiver. Okay. Joe Schobert, linebacker of the Browns. Good one. Impending free agent, though, has earned the right to test the market. Okay? Browns are not currently close to meeting Schobert's asking price. He's a good one, but he's going to ask for big dollars. He was a good one. He was probably one of their best players last season on defense. Okay? He's 26 years old. He's young. The 99th pick overall in 2016 draft became a playmaker for the Browns in 2019. Okay? He did receive some negative remarks, with the schematics and metrics of football. But he was a player, and he was a game changer. He has been an every down player also. So it's not like he comes off the field on third down. Joe Schobert, linebacker, Browns free agent. Keep your eye on that one. He's going to ask for money. And the Browns, all that hype around them, they're losing players, and it's breaking up a little bit. Let's see if the Browns can hold it together. Let's see if the Browns, all that hype from a year ago, let's see if they can hold it together. That's in Cleveland. They got a lot of decisions to make in Cleveland. A lot. Some good news in Seattle. Chris Carson, his injury, they say he'll be ready for week 1. That's good news for the Cardinals. For the Seahawks. Jamal Adams of the Giants said the Jets want him to remain a Jet for life. That is good news. And I reported yesterday, Cam Newton seems like he is going to be the starting quarterback. That's the plan for Matt Rule, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are reporting that. More news coming in, more comments coming in around. Jose Lucas in the house. I got you. Dale Court in the house. Ernest Johnson in the house. Kenny Salinas in the house. Thank you for popping in, guys. All right, let's get into some baseball news. Baseball World Classic, Baseball Classic 2021, we have now gotten down to the, let's just say, the sites, the stadium sites for the World Baseball Classic next year. Okay. In Pool A, the stadium being played at in early March during spring training is March 9th to March 13th in Taiwan. Taiwan is going to get their games for the World Classic, Baseball World Classic. Japan, Tokyo Dome, gets their to be determined dates, though. Pool C, Chase Field, Phoenix, Arizona, will be getting the Baseball World Classic March 13th to the 17th. I went to that a few years ago with my family. It was fantastic. It was great. Looking forward to it. Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Pool D is going to be Miami, Marlins Park. Also, same week. Quarterfinal games will return back to Japan on March 16th to 17th for the Baseball World Classic quarterfinals in the Tokyo Dome. Quarterfinals also, Miami, Marlins Park, March 19th to the 20th. And the championship game for the World Baseball Classic during the spring training, the spring season of baseball in 2021, the championship round will be played in Miami on March 21st through March 23rd, leaving 1 week or two for the 1 week before Major League Baseball starts and begins their new season in 2021. That is your baseball stadium sites and cities around the world for the Baseball World Classic. Excited for the state of Arizona that they will get the western site, not LA, but Arizona. Good for Arizona. Love to see that happening, especially when you have a dome stadium. The weather is great in March. Great time of the year for baseball in March. Good move by baseball to do that too. The World Baseball Classic is on. Well, I got to say it right. The World Baseball Classic is 2021. There you have it. There's your baseball stadium setup for that to happen. Now let's get into some baseball news. Did you know in 2010s, the last 10 years in baseball, what five teams are the most winning franchises in the last 10 years? At number 5, the Boston Red Sox at 872. At number 4, the Washington Nationals at 879. At number 3, the St. Louis Cardinals at 899. At number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers at 919 wins in the last 10 years. At number 1, the New York Yankees at 921 wins in the last decade. Those are your top 5 winningest teams in baseball with wins and losses. We go Yankees, Dodgers, Cardinals, Nationals, and Red Sox in that order from top to bottom. All right, more comments coming in. Let's see. Richard Bottoms, I got you, buddy. Let's see. Lucas. Hey, Lucas. Say something, Lucas. Give me a comment, my friend. Jose in the house. Michael Butler. Bradley. Got you, Kenny. Ernest Johnson and David and Gonzalez in the house. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right, here we go. Let's get more into it. More baseball news, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up and then summarize what we talked about, and then we'll head out of here. So you're looking for a free agent baseball player. You know, this time a year ago, there were a lot of free agents in baseball. A lot of free agents in baseball. All right, now, with that being said, Yasiel Puig. I like Yasiel Puig. He's a gamer. He plays in postseason. Teams are looking at him: the Mariners, Marlins, Tigers, Cardinals, Padres. Puig is a free agent. Let's see where he ends up. Also, Colin McHugh, another one, right-hand pitcher. You know, wasn't a great He was an average pitcher, but he can help at the back end of a rotation. If you're looking for depth, okay, Addison Russell, former Cubs shortstop. Remember this guy and had some off the field issues? Well, he's a free agent. And supposedly he's got his life turned around. Okay, career-wise last season, well, he didn't do great last season. But Orioles, Tigers, Rangers, Pirates, and Reds are looking at him. Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, trying to make his return, the comeback. I still say Matt Harvey belongs in the bullpen. Matt Harvey can still throw mid-90s as a starter. Okay, we saw it last year, but his ERA was 7.09. 3 wins, 5 losses. Okay, but he was coming back from surgery and rehabilitation. So I always say in that second year, it takes a couple of years for any pitcher to have major arm surgery to kind of really rediscover themselves and get back on track. I believe this is the year for Matt Harvey, and we're going to find out if he is truly going to make it back. And if somebody takes a flyer on him, somebody takes a chance on him, I still say, Harvey, think about this. Get into the bullpen. You still got nasty stuff. It'll get nastier because your velocity will go up. You're only going to be able to pitch to 3 batters minimum. All right. You can be a closer. You can be a great 8 guy in anybody's bullpen. I would find a team that wants you in the bullpen. Trying to be a starter is going to be difficult. I don't know if teams trust you unless you're just going to get a contract and move on. Like the Blue Jays, the Royals, the Mariners, Orioles, even the Giants, teams that have struggled or just average to below average teams. Or go to a contending team, take the minimum, work your way in, and find yourself on a contending team with a lot of big games involved, where you want to be, and be that guy for somebody in that bullpen. The New York Yankees may take a flyer on Harvey if Harvey is willing to go to AAA, get some repetition in, get some innings pitched, get revved up a little bit, get ready for the regular season, and maybe Harvey can go to the bullpen or maybe be that spot starter that the Yankees may need because they've already lost 2 starters from injury already. They may need some help but is Harvey the guy? Now we're looking at a 5th starter or bullpen guy for a team like the Yankees. Just saying. Clay Buchholz, another guy. Clay Buchholz is another pitcher that seems to, what a year he had for the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, you forget about Clay Buchholz with the Diamondbacks, I should say. The Arizona Diamondbacks in 2018. Had some great starts. Somebody may take a flyer. I think bullpen for him too. Fernando Rodney, another guy. 43 years old. But then again, can he get in there and get 3 guys out? Because you're going to have to face the league minimum of 3 batters every time you appear in a game as a relief pitcher. Or any pitcher has to face, unless there's an injury. Russell Martin, who had a rebirth in his career with the Dodgers, going back to the Dodgers. Not a bad backup scenario. Not a bad veteran guy. This is a catcher that may get picked up once an injury occurs at that position. He knows how to call a game. He's a leader on the field. Still has enough bat in him to get some good hits. Okay? But he's not going to be an everyday starter unless you are forced to go that route. Russell Martin, an older catcher, but a good veteran to have on your team. How about this? This is kind of weird. Steve Pearce. Like, this guy was nothing more than a backup DH, first baseman, played on every team that you can possibly think of in the American League East, was bounced around the league, ends up with the Red Sox, has one magical run season in him, mysteriously, with all that technology cheating going on, Boston. Steve Pearce is an MVP for your 2000 World Series championship, but then he battles injuries, bats 180, and disappears. I would not touch this guy. I would stay away from this guy. He's nothing more than a backup guy on your bench that you need a pinch hit home run potential. That maybe he can be that guy. I would stay away. There's a lot of younger guys that you have. Give them a chance. That's how I still. Steve Pearce, man, give me a break. Andrew Kashner, again, fifth starter on your rotation, potential bullpen guy. Somebody's going to pick him up because of depth. You never have enough pitching experience. Doesn't have great numbers. Sam Dyson, pitcher. I like his numbers. ERA 2.98, really a 3 ERA. Somebody will look at Sam Dyson. Tony Sipp, left-hander specialist. But here's the problem with Tony Sipp. You're going to have to get out 3 batters, which means they're probably going to face a right-hander also, which doesn't match up well with your skill set. He was a specialty left-hand pitcher out of the bullpen. Mark Trumbo, the longtime veteran, still got pop in his bat. Hit a lot of home runs for the Orioles. Again, I would take Trumbo over Steve Pearce to have on my bench, but who's going to find a Trumbo? You're better off getting a young stud guy that has pop, but also can also be a future long-term answer by developing them. Give them a chance. Now, here's a ball player with PED history, Melky Cabrera. But Melky has been a good veteran, and he supposedly has been clean. But he seems to, you know what, the guy hits. He's a 280 hitter. Okay? And not a bad choice if you're looking for help in the outfield. Not the fastest guy, but he knows how to hit, understands the game. He has been a winner, and not a bad choice if you're looking for somebody like that. Aaron Sanchez. This guy was the ERA champ in 2016. He pitched for the Houston Astros last year. All right? Had surgery and everything else, right? He is available. He seems to have good stuff, and then he disappears. He is somebody that somebody's going to grab. They're going to Ben Zobrist. This guy is available. He's always been a utility guy. He plays every position on the field. This is somebody that will get picked up fairly soon when injuries happen. If not, excuse me, somebody's going to, like a Miami Marlins or a younger or older, I wouldn't say older team, a team that is not a good team, may just go grab a Zobrist, okay, just in case a team needs to trade for a veteran infielder later in the season when they're trying to make a push for a playoff run and they need some veteran leadership, consistency at that position. The problem with Zobrist is he's 39 years old. 39 years old. All right, so spring training is well on its way. We're keeping our eyes on the new Angel, Anthony Rendon. He is no longer with the Nationals. It's the Rendon, Trout, Pujols combination with Simmons there. A nice combo of hitters in Anaheim with the Los Angeles Angels. If they have pitching in Anaheim with the Angels, this team is something to look at. I don't think they have enough pitching. Excuse me. All right, more comments, and then we're going to get out of here. We're going to pop out of here. I appreciate you guys popping in, learning more about a lot of football news today. A lot. And then we're going to go back up to the top of the beginning of the show to rephrase, to summarize what we talked about. We first came out of the gates saying, no more grunting. Can't do it anymore. Well, who can't do it anymore? It's going to be Maria Sharapova. She retires from tennis. The reports coming out that she will be retiring from tennis for good. The grunting model, 32-year-old tennis star, champion of the game of tennis for women's tennis, is going to hang up her tennis shoes, her racket as a professional tennis player. We're going to miss her. She brought a lot of attention to the sport at a very young age, and has lasted a very long time. Battled through, made a comeback, and did what she had to do to make her comeback to solidify her legacy, with a lot of criticism about her, well, cheating scandal, we'll say. But a lot of respect for her. Also, the Olympics. The Olympics are in jeopardy because of the coronavirus. If they cannot get this resolved globally, but especially in the Asian part of the world, Japan, you got the Olympics coming up, and this is a problem because China is, this is right there, and it's rampant, and it's getting worse from what, at least that's the reports, and a lot of fear. The athletes, the players in the sports of the Olympics may not want to go overseas to risk their life to get ill. May not be worth it. We're getting into March. There's a few months for this to work out, but we've got to see how the world can resolve this horrible disease, virus that has been exploded on our earth and has got a lot of people scared. Reports have that the coronavirus could be resolved within a couple of months. Keep our fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. NFL news right now, just breaking it down. Does the NFLPA, the players are voting on it. The news is today that they proposed the CBA. It was sent to the members to vote. The players, the membership vote is going to happen. We'll find out soon if the 17-game schedule of the NFL is going to happen. I'm excited for that. I hope it happens. I know the players will. Well, a lot of players probably won't like it because that's a lot of games. But then again, there's a lot more money in your pocket. $5 billion is what is being projected already that is going to be shared among the players that are currently playing the game and the future players getting into the NFL. It also is going to benefit the retired players, the ones that we talked about with Louis Sharp last week and this past Monday. That alone is a big story to go from $220 a month to $550. More than doubles the monthly pension that these players were getting. Now they get medical, but they're going to get a lot more support above and beyond. Okay, which is something that's unheard of for retired NFL players pre-2012. Especially the players that were pre-1993 players. We know the stories. We know they need help. There's going to be medical. There's going to be, I believe, a $50,000 money given to them. That's like insurance for them to use towards medicals and things like that to take care of those bills that they are in debt with right now. So this is a big deal. And these NFL players, the members of the PA have to do the right thing. If they do not vote yes on this, they better have a really good reason, because I like the deal. I love what I see, and it just helps the game itself internationally too. And you're going to get more money, and your contracts are going to go up because of it. So why not? Now, I know your health and your safety is important of every game, but I believe there's a bye week. There's 2 bye weeks coming out of this proposal. Now, we're going to get all the details once it's solidified and voted on then we'll get the full layout of what is really inside that proposal. The fact that the NFLPA has proposed a CBA and sent it to its members to vote on, which means they're okay with it now. And now we'll wait and see where it goes next. We'll find out. Maybe we find out today, but it could take a week as it all plays out, as everybody gets into discussions, players talk to each other. I'm sure they've talked to each other already, but now they're really going to see more and get through this more. So it could take a week, but we may hear something by today or even by Friday before the week is out. The sooner the better. The sooner the better. I am anxious to find out. Really am. Like a lot of people are. All right, more news that you may have missed also around the globe. The NFL itself is the combines are going on. A lot of talk, a lot of conferences, a lot of interviews going on. A lot of hype, and just can't buy into it until everything starts with the opening bell of free agency. Then things are really going. The new season begins. Like it all starts. Like that's when it really starts for me, for you, is free agency, because then it plays into the draft and rosters, and then we start to figure out where your team is going and how it's all being played out. All right. Last comments, and we're going to say goodbye to you. We talked about the Cardinals. We talked about the Cardinals' first-round draft decision. I mean, are they really going to ignore an offensive tackle in the first round? That's what is being thrown out there already. The Cardinals didn't really give us any comfort of knowing. I don't know why they would not, but it looks like they're comfortable with their tackle position from what the reports came out, and that they feel like they can get a tackle or lineman in the second or third round. That's what it seems like. I'm just reading between the lines. But I feel it's the opposite that they should do. Go get the best offensive lineman. Go get the best defensive tackle in the second round or a linebacker, and then focus on your wide receivers if that's the case in the fourth or fifth round, sixth round. Okay? This is a NFL draft that has a lot of wide receivers. A lot. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Appreciate it. Love you guys. We'll come back in tomorrow again here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. I'm your host, Cornelius Brad Hanna, bringing it to you well over 600 shows. It's amazing. We'll have a big celebration party when we get to 1,000. How about that? But with that being said, and we're going to come back to you tomorrow on a Thirsty Thursday, right here on YouTube, right here on Facebook and Instagram, and the Global Sports Broadcasting Network live stream. We will see you tomorrow, right here on Hanna Time. Cornelius Brad Hanna. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, YouTube guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for popping in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. We'll talk to you tomorrow.